Well, there's a pretty sizable crowd gathered here already, as you can see, with all kind of shapes and sizes, all different ages.
Well, I'm pleased at the numbers. I was a bit worried that we would get demonstration fatigue, but people feel so strongly about their local NHS. And what needs to be understood is it won't be their local NHS. It will be a social enterprise with 3,000 people ending outside of the NHS, and that's not acceptable. At the very least, we should have a proper debate, and that's been withheld for us. So let's hope that people start to listen and that the legal challenge is successful.
Yeah, I mean, I think what we've seen already is that when this has happened and services has been handed over to social enterprise, we've seen in Surrey that they then get privatised, and that's the risk here. You know, social enterprises that are set up properly for running small businesses are fine, but to run a massive health service at a few days' notice is just a step towards privatisation. And you know, our health services that my father spent 40 years working for, it's too precious just to hand over like this.
And it's very good about the traditional review, and I just hope we can win the court case, and I hope we do a lot of good today.
David Cameron said the NHS is safe in his hands. Ha ha ha. Don't think so.
I'm Caroline Malloy.
Hi. So I'm Philip Booth, District Councillor.
Oh, hi. Oh, yeah, you've got the Washcombe Green website.
Yeah, that's the one, yes.
Yeah, great.
Chris Moore, one coordinator of Stroud Against The Cuts.
Great. So why are you here today?
We're here...
Save the NHS.
and keep out the private properties in the NHS.
Absolutely.
Which is what the social enterprise will allow to come in. Central Surrey social enterprise has shown that the social enterprise cannot hold off the private sector. It was the first time that the social enterprise had to bid for the contracts, because social enterprise will have the contracts for a few years. The first time they had to bid, they're taken over by a private company.
You know, we've been told we've got a really strong legal case to stop this, but it will only happen if we show the public opinion as well. So, yeah, really pleased about today.
I couldn't have that on video, could I?
If you like.
That's lovely.
You want me to do a bit of a dance as well?
Well, a bit of a dance would be great, yeah.
Aldrum, the Stroud Mayor, and our council, our town council, is 100% behind me, so I can stand here with pride. And I think that's a good thing. She's been granted a judicial review. This will mean that on Sunday the 1st of October, staff from all around the Gloucestershire can still be working for the NHS. I'm going to introduce you to the gentleman who actually put that forward and said he doesn't want the NHS to start, he doesn't want the NHS to close in Stroud. It's a certain Michael Lloyd. He's a young man and he's fought all his life. Over to you, Michael, to say why you feel that the NHS shouldn't close.
We are all proud of our National Health Service. Everyone would agree that it is the envy of the world. Do we want this country to have health service like they have in the United States.
John, well, thank you all for being here, and I think it shows that it's not just me that's passionate about the NHS, that we're all passionate about the NHS. And as far as we're concerned, the NHS is not for sale. As you've been told, last week Michael Lloyd, backed by Stroud Against The Cuts, launched a legal case against the managers of NHS Gloucestershire. We told them that they are breaking the law if they just quietly hand over our NHS to an unaccountable social enterprise. The NHS has been there for all of us at some time in our lives, and now it's time we need to be there for the NHS. Thank you.
Well, it's a sad day, isn't it, when we're standing here having to protect an NHS that we fought very hard for in a time where we have the biggest deficit in the world after the Second World War. And they claim today this is why they've got to marketise the NHS is because we have a deficit, a debt. Well, that's complete rubbish. We know that marketisation has brought the NHS to its knees. We've heard the story this week about PFI hospitals potentially folding. We are now hearing a whole plethora of social enterprises being set up. And they'll tell you they're still providing NHS services, but it isn't part of the NHS, it's a private company. So it is really, really important that you stand together in this campaign, because the South West has got the largest number of proposals for social enterprise of anywhere in England. And let's remember, Wales and Scotland have taken a very different route. They haven't gone down this route. They know that they need to keep the NHS publicly owned and publicly accountable. I'm so angry about this, I almost find it hard to speak. And the Strategic Health Authority said to me this week, they said we've got 2,000 less staff working in the South West in the NHS. 2,000! So much for a freeze on redundancies in the NHS, Whitley. Did any of you vote for this? No! Have any of you been consulted on these proposals? No! Nye Bevan will be turning in his bloody grave. Tell you what, he said, and Nye Bevan said, we will only have an NHS as long as we're willing to fight for it. So we're going to fight? Yes!
Social enterprises or the community interest companies, they'll be like minnows swimming in the sea with sharks. That's what this will offer us. We say, demand a staff ballot. Don't just ask for it, demand it. Campaign can stop the sharks in the private sector. Keep our NHS public.
But you've got to go out and tell at least 10 other people what is going on. People just do not know. The NHS is in our blood. It is British. It is about what makes Britain great. So let's remind all our politicians they have to respond to the campaign to keep our NHS public.
Everyone to attend the extraordinary meeting at Stroud District Council next week as a mark of protest at the lack of scrutiny into what is about to happen.
The District Council is calling an extraordinary meeting on the 28th. We would like to see a lot of you there because we're pushing for the same thing, saying we still want it scrutinised because we don't think it has been scrutinised.
I've only just improvised this.
That's great. Thank you.
We're here today to oppose the plans that Gloucestershire Care Services and the NHS Gloucestershire have concocted to transfer 9 community hospitals in Gloucestershire and various NHS services to a social enterprise and out of the NHS.
Well, no, Sally Thorpe and I put the motion. I mean, yes, it was overwhelming support.
I don't think the NHS should be privatised. It was set up decades ago with Nye Bevan. It was set up in a time when we didn't have much cash either in the country. We'd come through very difficult times, and yet now we're in that same position again. They're talking about cutting it right down and privatising.
How was that being up in front of all those people?
No, not too bad. A bit scary, but
I feel the NHS is under immediate threat from the whole social enterprise idea, which is an open door to privatisation, that the Tories are not interested in it, they're only interested in medicine for profit, and if we don't stand up, then the most vulnerable in society are the ones who are going to be the first to suffer.